So of course, one of the things that should be checked out after taking a huge trip like this is your oil. Turbo cars tend to burn a little bit more oil than your average car for every 1,000 miles or so. Whenever I filled it up before I left, we were at about, we were right on full. So we'll take this, get that other oil off, go ahead and check it. And it still looks like we're full. You kind of have to check it based on the sun, but we're about right here, which is a little bit above the full line. Which I like to do is just put it to full and then put a little bit more in it just to be safe. You obviously don't want to overflow it, but yeah, putting a little bit above full isn't going to hurt anything, so I always just put a little bit extra in. Okay, so as you might have seen in the last video, I did take this off because it was peeling, and I was going to take it off, sand it, repaint it and everything, and I painted it about 5 days ago, I think, so it should finally be fully cured. Doesn't feel tacky or anything like that. It actually looks really good. I'm really hoping that doesn't peel again, because it was honestly a pain to try and sand the whole thing down and paint it again, but it looks really good now. Still glossy and everything like that, like I wanted for it. I have some tape over here. So I did get Gorilla mounting tape, which I would advise against actually, because it is mounting tape. It is weatherproof, but on the back I was reading it and it says it's permanent and it may cause damage or residue if removed. And I mean, as you can see on the back of this, there is still residue here, which I'm sure would come off maybe, but I'm just gonna put it right back over top, because part of the reason I got this was these dents right here, and I didn't want to get that body worked or anything. And I'm planning to leave it on the car forever, I guess. So yeah, it's not like it matters if it's gonna be permanent or not. So we're gonna have to shove this on this thing. But let's get a pair of scissors for this too. Okay, this is kind of a thick roll. So I think my plan is gonna be just to measure out as much as I need, like just extend it out, and then I can just cut it in half, and then it should be able to go on here and on there. So we can do both sides with just one length of it if I just chop it in half, because the 3M tape that I had on it before was a lot thinner and that held it just fine. So like I said, I would not recommend that you use this if you're trying to put something on, unless you know for sure that you want it on there permanently, because this kind will stay on there permanently, and like it said on the back, it will leave some residue if you do try and pull it off. And I also had to cut it in half because it was a little bit thicker, but yeah, I would just get some 3M stuff that you can also peel off if you need to, because not every build is final or finished. I did have the sides on before, but this is supposed to hold up to 30 pounds, and this is definitely like not even 5 pounds. So well, it says 1 pound per 2 inches. So I think we're fine. So we'll go ahead, press this down, make sure it's on the whole way. Don't want this thing flying off on the highway or something. Okay, this is the hard part. I had somebody help me last time when I did this, but hopefully I can get it lined up. So you want to tuck it underneath there. And then I think that's where it was at. So it like runs right along there. We'll go on the other side. Make sure it's tucked under. Yeah, because there was that. I kind of scraped this last time. But I think this is actually exactly where it's set. So we'll go ahead and push it down. Make sure it stays on there. All right, there she is. Oh, press firmly for 60 seconds. Okay. So we'll kind of I'll work on this for like another minute, just pushing it down. All right, so I just finished pressing it down. looks the same as it did before, just painted down. Hopefully it won't start chipping like it did before. Like this whole entire curved area was really where it was super bad on the top and the bottom. So yeah, let's hope it stays like this from now on. So another cool thing that we got is some paint. So I got some primer, I got Subaru 02C paint base coat, and I got some clear coat. So I got this on Amazon, all from American Touch Up. I wanted to see how well this paint would work. I was gonna test it out on the hood scoop because I want this to be blue so it matches the rest of the car. And then depending on how well it works, maybe I'll like do it on some other areas. I don't know, I feel like it would definitely not be as close to the actual color if I did it on like the whole hood or something. But I do want to at least try it on the hood scoop. Hopefully it's close enough that it matches well to the car. I'll have to look up like from the factory how many coats they did on this. I'm pretty sure they only did one base coat or something like that. So that way I know how many coats I have to do on this to make it look close to this. So I'll start getting that unscrewed and then we can test out this paint. Okay, so the way that this comes off is you got your 3 screws on the top that for me at least are Phillips. And then you got these on the bottom, which for me are all square. And then underneath here, you'll have an extra one. In my case, it's a Phillips. And on this side, you also have a Phillips, so you can pop this bottom thing off, and that should let you get to the hood scoop. So it literally just slides right out. Just sits up in there, and this is the only thing that holds it in after you undo all the screws on it, is this, like this carpety material. It just slides right out because these little wing bits will be under there and you can just pull it out. And then you got access to your hood scoop. So looks like we got 8 different bolts we got to do. For mine, which is aftermarket, I got this on eBay. So yeah, we'll have to go ahead and take those out now. All right, finally got it out. Underneath the hood scoop, that far one broke, so you had to, the bolt was spinning in there. So I had to like grab it with some vice grips while I got it undone. But it's finally out. Gonna make sure we wash it up quick, that way the paint sticks to it. And it's all clean, there's no like dust marks or anything on it. So we'll clean it up first before we go ahead and put it on here and spray it. I'll be honest, this is kind of stressing me out. Just because I don't feel like I'm that good at painting, but we'll give it a shot. Put the primer on it, put some base coat on it, put some clear on it. We'll see how it turns out. I'm a little bit stressed out, but I'm hoping it turns out decent looking, close enough to this color. All right, so the primer was put on. It actually looked pretty good with the primer on it, and then I sanded it down with, this is 800 grit. This is what the bottle says to do. I did 3 coats of primer, waited 8 minutes in between each one, and then I sanded it down with that 800 grit. Got it smooth everywhere. I just sprayed 1 layer of base coat on it. But yeah, got it smooth everywhere. And then I washed it with water again, dried it off, so now it's good to go. I just did my first base coat. The color's definitely gonna look different on camera, but it doesn't look that close right now, but in the spots that are like down there, that looks actually really close. So after like 2 to 3, I think, base coats, it'll actually look very close to this. And then once you get the clear on there, it'll get it a little glossier. So it'll look just like this paint. So yeah, the primer was 8 to 10 minutes to wait. I waited 8, and then this base coat is 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll probably either wait 5 or 8 minutes because it's a little warmer out today, but it is within the temperature range that they said, and it's not that humid out. So I'll probably end up waiting 5 to 8 minutes. And then I'll spray it again. Probably able to do 3 coats. The primer lasted 3 coats. And before it started running out, I kind of sprayed it over here and it was spitting a lot. So I think it was about to be out. So we got 3 coats of the primer in, and hopefully we can get 3 coats of this base coat in. But yeah, it's looking very good so far. It still looks a little bit gray because this is the first coat, but I feel like after a couple more coats, it'll start looking a lot closer to that. Ooh, she's all clean now. Figured I'd give it a wash while this thing was drying off in here. I had to let it sit for 30 minutes. So that way I guess the base coat could get on there good. It's not perfect. You can kind of tell on the top. and I went to spray. I literally was doing this as the last side, spraying it as the last side, and the paint spit. And you can see right there, it spit. So just pooped on it. It was looking so good, I feel like, and I just got pooped on. So I had to wait 30 minutes for that to dry before I can put clear coat on it. So I figured I'd wash this because there was a lot of, bugs on the front. There was like pollen and dirt all over the hood and the trunk. So now look how shiny it is. Ooh. It's supposed to sprinkle here, which is also why I moved this inside. We'll probably have to finish spraying the clear inside. But yeah, finish getting this cleaned up because I wanted to give it a wash. It might sprinkle here, might rain. I want to make sure I get all the bugs and the dirt and the pollen and stuff just all cleaned off of it so it's fresh. It might not rain, then it might just look really nice. And then hopefully when we put that hood scoop on the front, it'll look similar enough that you can't really tell that it's painted and that's been there the whole time. So yeah, looks pretty good right now. I think it's actually about time to spray clear coat on there, so we'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so checked out the wheel bearings. They seem perfectly fine. And the way that you do that is you have to jack up the car, the whole entire front, so the whole front axle is off the ground, and you push against your 4 points of contact, there. You push it vertically back and forth and horizontally back and forth, and you see if there's any play in there. I didn't have any play in the front or the rear, which makes me think that it's maybe my brakes, because it was vehicle speed that caused the squeaking to speed up or slow down. So I think the brakes need replaced. I didn't check the pads while I had it up in the air and stuff to see wheel bearings, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order some new brakes, just replace all 4 of them, and then if the noise is still there, check the wheel bearings again and maybe just replace them even if there is no play in them, because that could be the cause of it. So yeah, that's what the solution is going to be, I guess, for now, is just replace all 4 brakes because it's probably in need of it. Maybe I'll even do the rotors too. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, I think the first thing I'll do is replace the brakes in the future, and then if the noise is still there, that'll key me into that it could be the wheel bearings, and then I might as well just replace them, but we'll see. So that's good. Doesn't seem like a wheel bearing. Brakes are a normal maintenance thing, so that's good. Sometime in the future we will replace those and we'll see what happens. This is absolutely insane. Obviously it's not a perfect color match, but I feel like in person, if you look at it from like here maybe, yeah, even on camera it looks very close. I mean, it's the same paint that Subaru was supposed to put on it, and even after 20 years I feel like the paint has not faded that much. This car must have been actually kept like out of the sun and the snow and stuff. Obviously it's got a bunch of like chips and peeling and stuff all over it, but the paint really didn't fade as much as I see some people say it does. Obviously it's gonna need some time to cure. You can kind of see it will need some time to cure, get that clear darkened up and everything, and kind of like this was sitting for 5 days before it looked like that. So yeah, I feel like over time maybe this will kind of like suck in its color and maybe it'll look better. It looks very close. Like, I'm very happy with it actually. I did make some mistakes, like I'm gonna have to get it out because it's starting to sprinkle a little bit. Maybe you can. And also over here, that got a little bit messed up. So I might have to like sand it down a little bit and polish it to get it perfect. But yeah, oh my God. I cannot believe that, how close that is. And this is like one of my first times painting something. Like, I had to help painting that back thing. So this is like the first thing I painted, and it's not just black. Like, I've painted black before, but this is like supposed to be close to this color. And I'm very happy with it. I was tired of that hood scoop being black, so I'm so happy with how this looks now. And I'm actually astonished with how good it looks based on Subaru's color. You can barely even tell it's painted from my perspective. So I'm so happy with how this turned out. Took a lot of time. 3 coats of primer, waited 8 minutes in between each one, then I had to wait 30 minutes, sand it with 800 grit, clean it off again with water, threw on 3 base coats, and then waited 30 more minutes, and then I put on 4 clear coats, and they're pretty heavy. Like, the bottle said that you wanted it to be wet whenever it was on there, so the whole entire thing was wet, not dripping, but wet. And I feel like it just turned out so good. I don't know, I feel like I would definitely not like pop the hood off and do it on the hood or anything like that, because it's not that close. We'll have to see how it turns out over a couple days or so, but oh my god, I can't believe how well that paint actually turned out. I'm so happy with it. But yeah, that's all that we've got for the Subie checkup after that long journey that we took. Checking out some things that we noticed along the way, like those wheel bearings and the brakes, and also just putting some things together, like getting those fins back on and repainting this and giving it a nice wash after that long journey that we took. Oh yeah, and checking the oil. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.